Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah King. I'm a partner at Clifford Law Offices. I practice personal injury law in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm here this morning to talk to you about some tips on how to talk to your clients during this COVID-19 crisis. My first tip this morning is to make contact with each of your clients. Right now, a lot of us find ourselves at home. Generally, in the personal injury world, this is not a desk job. You're doing depositions, going to court. So we all might have a little extra time on our hands. So number one, make contact with each and every one of your clients. That can seem like a very overwhelming task, but if you make a schedule and you stick to it every day, it can be accomplished and your clients will really appreciate hearing from you, either on the phone or by Zoom. If you have some technology savvy clients, it's always good to see people right now and be able to share with them what you're going through and ask them about what they're going through. My second tip this morning is when you do make contact with your clients, either on the phone or on Zoom or BlueJeans or Skype, whatever technology you prefer, number one thing when you talk to them is just to check in with them. So I call this my COVID-19 check-in. Even though we might want to jump right into what's going on in your case or how this is impacting the court system, it's good just to ask them, how are you doing? How's your family doing during this crisis? And then it's kind of your job to listen. I found that a lot of my clients really want to talk, maybe a little bit longer than they usually want to talk for, but that's just natural. They're locked in their homes, they need someone to talk to, and they might be alone at home. So you might be one of the first people that has reached out to them on that day or that week, and they just want to tell you about what they've been going through, how they've been handling the crisis. So be a good listener during your check-in, even if it's something that might not be directly relevant to their case. You're their attorney and you're there to listen to them and give them advice about whatever they're going through. So start with a COVID-19 check-in and just simply ask, how are you doing? How are you handling this crisis? But my third tip this morning is a little more specific for those of us that represent people and families that have been affected by personal injury, whether that be a trucking accident, a car accident, a medical negligence claim. So our clients are particularly vulnerable right now, whether that be because they are suffering from a disability due to their injury, whether they have an underlying health condition, which many of my clients do, or they're at high risk because they have continuing medical care that they have to get in a high risk environment. So they're continuing to visit places where there might be COVID-19 patients being treated. So check in with your client about their vulnerable position. Understand what they're going through specifically as it relates to COVID-19. That's not only important for you to advise them about how to keep themselves safe, but it's important to understand because it's actually a part of their claim. So what they're going through right now will ultimately be something they might have to talk about at a deposition. So I take notes when I talk to my clients. I create a memo, especially about what they're going through right now. And I also encourage them to take notes and to journal during this time. So this is an experience that might be particularly scary for them. A lot of our clients have lost family members, so they are living alone right now. That is something you want to understand. What resources do they have? If they need any resources, what can you help them find? And then make sure that they're documenting that, because that again is going to be a part of their claim. The accident that put them in this position is now being doubled down on by having them be cut off from their other family members that lived, cut off from the resources that they normally have, or has put them in a position where they have to visit a hospital and put them or their family members at risk to continue their treatment. So really recognizing that we represent a vulnerable population during this time, and then making sure that we document this experience or help them document this experience. My fourth tip this morning is be a reliable source of information. So there's a lot of information out there right now, whether it's on the internet or on the news, that a lot of your clients might be questioning, is this right? Why does this contradict what I heard yesterday? You are their attorney. You are here to be the most reliable source of information for them. But that means that you yourself need to stay up to date on the most reliable information. You need to be aware of the governor's most recent orders. I listen every day to his press conference at 2:30. That's for myself and for my family, but it's also so that I am incredibly up to date every time I pick up the phone to talk to one of my clients. You'll be surprised how often they'll ask you to verify information. So you need to have that information in order to tell them, I wouldn't go with that. You read that online. I would direct you to resources that the state has made available that are verified, that have data behind them. And then be a reliable source of information on the courthouse itself, whether it be Cook County Courthouse or another courthouse, look at the general administrative orders that specifically their case, where their case is pending, and understand what the most recent order says. So when they ask you the question about how long will it be until you're back in court, what are the courthouses doing right now, you are a reliable source of information and you can direct them to where you got that information. So my fifth tip this morning is just to be real with your clients. I know that sounds like simple advice, but when you give them a case update, which is something I include in every one of my conversations with my client, I am real with them about what sort of delays this may cause in their case, if it's going to cause delays. I don't want my clients walking away with an impression from our conversation that this is not going to have any impact on their case. We all know that this is going to have an impact on cases. It's going to have a delay, even if in some cases it's only been a 6 or 8 week delay. The reality is that the courthouse, for all intents and purposes, on non-essential matters has been closed. So that has had an impact on cases, and I do explain that to them. However, I also like to leave them with a positive message as well. And my sixth and final tip this morning is to leave your clients with a positive message. So I like to assure my clients at the end of our call that Clifford Law Offices is fully remote and we're working on their cases. I've walked them through how we became remote, how I'm working off of 2 screens, how I'm able to work on discovery in their case, I'm able to file motions remotely, I've accomplished depositions by Zoom, I'm using DocuSign to get them documents, I'm using our in-house software that I can get to remotely from my iPad or my computer. And this just helps them understand that we are fully working right now. This is not a vacation. We are 9 to 5, 9 to 8 sometimes, working on their cases and working on the other cases in our office. And that assures them that things are getting accomplished. The wheels of justice have not stopped. We are grinding away at their cases and we are pushing to make sure that their case moves forward right now. And a lot of clients find that very positive because when you do represent this vulnerable population, a lot of times they are waiting on just and fair compensation in order to pay for medical care, in order to pay for the simple needs of their families. And when they hear about delays in the courthouse, it concerns them because that directly impacts their family. So I like to let them know that we are a firm that has resources and has moved those resources remotely, and that I'm here and available for them. But when you tell your client you're available, you have to be available. So be positive and be available is my final tip. When you give them your cell phone number, that means you have to answer it, even if they're calling you at 9 o'clock at night, even if they're texting you. Be available to your clients right now because this crisis affects us all, but it affects us all at all times of the day. So when you end with that positive message and you relay to your clients your personal cell phone number, you need to be there for them and be able to answer that call, because I've had many clients follow up with me later and something has come up that they need help with, as simple as, how do I get a copy of a birth certificate right now? How do I make sure that I'm getting these resources on time? And those are things that we have to handle after hours, because right now while we're remote, nothing is really 9 to 5, nothing is really during the workday. It all kind of blends into each other, and that's happening for your clients as well. So be positive and be available to your clients right now during this crisis. I want to end by thanking everyone for watching this morning. There are additional resources available for attorneys out there. At cliffordlawoffices.com, we have a COVID-19 page with attorneys resources and also resources for our clients. And then always you can go to the ISBA website and we have a plethora of resources for attorneys right now while we're working from home. So everybody stay safe, stay well, and stay home.